Oh, okay. Sorry, Obeycast. Obey. Hope you have a lovely day.
Where's the fourth?
Oh, but by the tank. Hey,
there we go.
Nice.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Vanguard beta has officially come to an end, and we now have to wait until November 5th to get our hands on the game again. This video is going to be more directed towards Sledgehammer. Now, I know that I'm not a huge content creator, but the main purpose of a beta is for the developers to get general feedback from their players to help them improve the game for when it fully launches. I had a blast playing this game, but I did notice some issues, and I have a few critiques for this game that I hope get addressed. This is going to be a longer video, but if you want to know my thoughts on an exact part of the game, there will be timestamps listed below for you that'll lead you to that topic. But before we dive in, all of this is coming from a controller player on the PlayStation 4 Slim model, so keep that in mind. First, let's talk about the weapons. I feel like they're in a pretty good spot so far. The TTK feels similar to that of Modern Warfare, but not quite as fast. I do like that. Although, weapons like the STG, Thompson, and the MP40 felt better than any of the others. Those could maybe use a nerf for the full game, but other than that, the weapons did feel pretty good. Aim assist didn't really feel that strong either. Now, I know PC players are going to flip out on me for that, but I had the default aim assist on that came with the game, and I didn't mess around with that at all, and it really didn't feel that strong. I did notice, though, that you can set yourself to have Cold War's aim assist on this game. Now, I feel that that is going to be a problem, because aim assist on Cold War was pretty strong. Now, I do want to get into sniping a little bit more, and the sniping felt pretty smooth overall. Now, unlike Cold War, you don't have to worry as much about getting shotgunned by a sniper if you challenge with, let's say, an SMG, because there is proper flinch now. And speaking of flinch, I have noticed that it is quite brutal at times, especially if you get tagged by frangible rounds, which added flinch that was dealt on hit. Sure, there are attachments that helped with flinch resistance, but it still felt pretty brutal anyway. It should be noticeable, but not overpowering like I felt on here. I'm also not a fan of having an attachment that adds flinch that's dealt on hit, so I feel that that buff should be removed, but if it has to stay, just tone that down a little bit. Now, for maps. We had 4 maps to mess around with. My favorite has to be Gavudu, which had that big ship in middle. It played really well regardless of what you played on it. My least favorite, you're seeing it in the gameplay right now, Red Star. It just played really boring regardless of what you played on it, especially 6v6 of any kind. This map was not made for 6v6. I feel like the map size should be cut down a little bit for 6v6. I'm not sure how that would work, but that is what I feel like should be done. I did notice a pretty significant issue on Red Star as well. There were times where the map would glitch out really bad and give off green flashes, which could really hurt someone's eyes or even cause epilepsy. I really hope that gets addressed. I don't want to see a lawsuit coming from someone that is prone to epilepsy actually having a serious issue because of those flashes. I did notice a couple of glitches on Eagle's Nest as well. I saw those from a couple of clips on Twitter. I will have those linked below if you wanted to see them yourself. There was a ledge under the window by the door leading to the A-bomb that glitched you off of it when you hit a certain spot on it. Also, there was a different window in that same room for A-bomb where you were able to climb through it from the outside even if the blinds were shut and not having any sort of damage on it. And you didn't even make noise when you climbed over that window as well, which was an even bigger problem as well. I hope that gets addressed. Again, both of those clips will be listed below if you want to see it. Moving over to the field upgrades, I did have an issue with the armor being too strong at first. It charged relatively fast and had more health before breaking than that of Cold War's armor. That has since been nerfed with both suggestions that I'd had for it. They increased the time to charge and nerfed the health on it before it broke. That's good. Although I feel that armor has no place outside of Champion Hill or Warzone, and it should be removed. If it has to stay, I think it's balanced pretty well along with the rest of the field upgrades. And yes, I do prefer having Dead Silence as a field upgrade. It makes you play modes like Search a little smarter. Now, for perks. I was not a fan of Ghost and High Alert being available right when you unlock Created Class. I do like where they are in their respective categories, but I think we should have to level up a little bit more before we got access to Ghost and High Alert. I also didn't like the fact that the traditional mini-map is locked behind a perk, where unsilenced shots would show up on it even if there was no spy plane up. That should be removed, and everybody should get the traditional radar by default. Other than that, the perks seem pretty good where they're at. Moving over to movement. With this game being built on an updated version of the engine that was used for Modern Warfare 2019, the movement should feel similar to that, right? Well, some of it did, but some of it felt clunky at the same time, the sprint to fire being one of them. Sure, there were attachments that helped with it, but with some of the weapons, it still felt like I could stop sprinting, go grab a drink, come back, and still die because my weapon wasn't ready to fire. This is especially true with tac sprint. Much worse, as a matter of fact. The sprint to fire recovery should be toned down a little bit for more consistent gunfights. Also, I'm not sure if this was intentional, but sliding did not refresh your tac sprint. And I'm sure that's thrown a lot of you guys off. I hope this was not intentional. Now, for streaks. There was a time early on where you couldn't call in your dogs right when you got them. That has since been addressed, which is good. The glide bomb seemed kinda iffy as well with controlling it. I noticed this especially with people I watch who play keyboard and mouse on PC. It was much harder for them to control the glide bomb. And even with me being on controller, there was a time where I was looking to hit someone with it, but I ended up doubling back to try to get someone else because the one I was trying to get at first ran into a building. But angling it to double back was pretty iffy. I hope that gets addressed. Also, Butcher never called out when a glide bomb was being dropped, regardless if it was a friendly one or if it was being dropped by an enemy. This has gotten me killed by it a lot because sometimes I just don't notice it coming because of that. Also, I don't really like that you can't call in UAVs right at the start of a round in Search. And speaking of which, you also can't have more than one of those up for your team at a time. I've never seen a restriction like that. I'm not a huge fan of it. Either remove that restriction, or if it has to stay, make it like a queue system, to where you can still call in your UAV while a teammate has one up, but yours doesn't come in until the teammate's one leaves. Now, for some other quality of life stuff that I noticed. The sun glare was quite annoying and really messed me up at times, and it did actually kind of hurt my eyes a little bit at the same time. I hope that gets toned down. Also, if the kill feed were to show 6 kills at once, it was more like 5.5, since the 6th kill was being cut in half. I hope that gets addressed for people that like to go for feeds. Now, for the spawns. Whoo boy. The spawns in non-search were pretty bad as well, especially on patrol. There were some ridiculous spawn traps on patrol. The spawns are going to be a huge problem for camo grinders if those don't get addressed. Speaking of camos, if the final mastery camo is chrome like it was in World War II, I'm honestly not even going to do it. All of that work for basically platinum camo for Modern Warfare as the final mastery camo, that's just not my cup of tea. No thank you. Although, we are going to have zombies as well, and it's going to be developed by Treyarch. So I hope that the zombies mastery camo looks good as well. And as for the multiplayer camo, if it looks similar to the Damascus, I will consider going for it. But if it's like Chrome, no thank you. Also, the audio needs some work. It was quite inconsistent, from the footsteps to non-player weapon sounds, to bullets hitting walls right next to you, all that jazz. It needs some work. Characters calling out stuff you do are pretty annoying as well, but I do see the benefit of some of them. One that has got to go, though, is when you're getting shot at and they call out that they're being pinned down. We don't need that. Take it out. Also, there is one that I do see the benefit of, and that is your character and Butcher both calling out multi-kills. That can help with your camos if there's a challenge that requires them, which I'm pretty sure there will be. all you got in older games was a pop-up, whether it be a medal or something right next to your crosshairs, but you never got an audio cue, which could end up making you miss if you end up getting that double kill. Even the slightest bit of noise in modes like S&D can get you killed if someone hears you, so those audio cues can mess you up as well. But other than that, I think that's all that I have to address. I hope Sledgehammer takes some of this into consideration, and I can't wait till this November. If you noticed anything that I didn't mention in this video, then be sure to let me know in the comments. But that's going to wrap this video up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. And if you're new around here, be sure to sub and put your notifications for personalized to all. That way you can make sure you don't miss out on any future videos. And of course, that would be very much appreciated. Hope you guys are looking forward to Vanguard. But that's going to do it for me. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy, and peace out.